Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Thank You for Coming right here on 2MB Studios. I'm your host, Mike Carr, and we are excited to have another week with two amazing improvisers who are currently backstage waiting to not only meet each other, but to improvise together for the very first time right here on the 2MB stage. If you're just joining our show for the very first time, first of all, thank you for coming. We're very glad to have you here. Two improvisers who've never met, who've never played together, meet and play for the very first time on this stage. It's an incredibly fun show where we get to meet some really cool people and get to know each other. If you're new to 2MB Studios, welcome. 2MB Studios has incredible programming 7 days a week. Awesome stuff from what is known as QAW, which is Quarantine Action Wrestling, which is a video game wrestling show, but with real people who've created characters that wrestle on the show, to countless other great shows. Once Upon a Doodle, which is right before this, which is a show that improvisers are improvising scenes, but it is being animated and drawn live before your eyes. There's a morning talk show, Hello World, on Mondays. Countless amazing shows. Check them out on 2MB Studios if you haven't done so already. But I want to get to the show because I got two improvisers backstage ready to come out here and ready to entertain you on a Sunday night, a beautiful Sunday night. Well, Sunday night here. It may not be Sunday night where one of our guests is. I'm not exactly sure what time of day it is where they are, so we're going to find out in just a moment. Please welcome Lloydie, James, Lloyd. Lloyd, hello!
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm great. It is not Sunday night. It is, in fact, Monday morning. It is 3 minutes past midnight. Yeah.
All right, it's very late for you. All right, so thank you for doing this late night show.
My absolute pleasure.
Excellent. What part of where are you in? You're in the United Kingdom. Where are you in the UK?
I am in Nottingham, home of Robin Hood.
Yes.
Bizarrely, Batman as well. Batman's house that they used for the externals is right around the corner from me.
Oh, nice. Is that the Christopher Nolan Batman's?
It was the Dark Knight Rising.
Great.
Yeah, it was the externals for that. Yeah, it was all filmed around here.
Oh, nice. Did they just film exteriors? Or did they actually film some scenes there?
They filmed some scenes, but it was all the outside stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Probably because we have a little place just outside of Nottingham called Gotham, but it's spelt Gotham, and that is apparently where the name Gotham came from. So yeah.
So much history right where you are. How excited.
I turn every corner and I'm like, oh, more history. God, it's dull.
Ugh, so annoying. Well, don't worry. There's no history in this show. We're not talking history, nothing of that.
I'm just so relieved. It's just so nice to be away from all of that.
Well, you're not going to get away from your scene partner. Your scene partner is joining us from another place that's loaded with history. You're in England. He's in New England. Please welcome Rob Mulligan.
Hi. Hey. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, man. There's history in Somerville. There's
tons of history.
There's Whitey Bulger did stuff here. Right?
Yeah. So, Lloydie, are you aware of who Whitey Bulger is?
No.
Oh, okay. Have you ever seen the movie The Departed or The Town? I don't know if he's in the town. Or he's not even in The Departed either. I don't know what I'm talking about.
The Jack Nicholson character in The Departed is heavily based on Whitey Bulger.
Well, the good news is I have not seen The Departed. So,
okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I said no history, but sorry. Now it's time for history lesson. No. No, you'll have to research that on your own. New England history is a whole other thing. So Rob, Lloydie, meet each other.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Nice mic.
Hey, thank you. It's brand new, actually. I've had it for about a month. So, and it's very do we have matching mics? Because it looks like you have a pod mic right there.
Yeah.
Hey, mic buds.
We have so much in common already.
I did post like a promo for this, or like, hey, come watch this and whatever. And someone said, you look like me before I lost my hair. So I felt like, that's a compliment because I feel like I look great. So there you go.
Fantastic. You're looking great from here. And like, I'm looking at you from across the Atlantic.
True.
Yeah. And it's got to be, if Lloydie, if all of it goes away, if they're going to look like Rob, that's not a bad thing.
Do you know what? I feel like there's not that much left anyway. I feel like getting rid of it so that I can be more like Rob. I think we should all be more Rob.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for that. I needed that self-esteem boost.
You're welcome.
So, all right. So I like to ask just to kind of get the ball rolling on our conversation, just some little get to know you stuff. Okay. So we're going to start off as what we were like as kids when we were little ones. So I just want to know, what was your favorite food as a child? And then I might ask a couple of addendums to that question, but start thinking about back to your childhood. What was like your go-to food? For me, it was English muffin pizzas were my favorite food as a kid.
I think
in fact, when I turned 18, my mom said she'd cook me anything for college. Like I was going off to college, like anything you want for dinner. I was like, English muffin pizzas. I was very low maintenance.
Oh man.
Mine. Sorry, you.
No, you go.
You go.
I keep cutting people off. I'm sorry.
But that is life now. It's everybody is like, oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. Are we? I think mine is probably very British. It would be fish and chips, like proper chips, not like little fried chips, but like proper chunky chips. And if those were drowned in vinegar, then I would be so happy. And if they were like wrapped in paper, like or newspaper. Oh, just the best. Yeah.
So good.
And with HP sauce as well, not ketchup. I never liked ketchup as a kid. It was always HP sauce, which is like a brown sauce. HP sauce invented in Nottingham. History. It's all
history.
Around me.
So much history.
It's really annoying, but it was. It's got molasses in it and various other spices. It's just kind of a spicy brown sauce. It's often just known as brown sauce, which sounds really appealing, obviously, but that is what the Brits call it. And just that on chips and fish, just made me really happy.
Oh, mine was definitely mac and cheese. Easy, just big bowl of macaroni and cheese. It didn't have to be good mac and cheese. It could be the Kraft mac and cheese, which is objectively not good mac and cheese, but I was still happy. It's just like the idea of mac and cheese was so comforting to me. Ooh, and then like when your family like makes it more indulgent by adding more cheese into it, because like the powdered cheese is garbage, right? It's not good. But like you add like real cheese in there and like mix it in, it gets even creamier. I think that's still one of my favorites, though. I don't think that's changed. So that's just consistently be one of my faves.
Would you say that it's evolved over time, though? So now instead of a box of Kraft macaroni and cheese, which is totally fine, by the way, but now like baking it with all sorts of different kinds of cheeses, because I've explored that a lot too and had a lot of fun with that.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely now I'm much more of a snob about it. I definitely, like, I won't just, I can't, Annie's mac and cheese is, like, maybe luxurious, but, like, I'm still adding more, like, fancy cheeses in there. I definitely am much more snob. I'm just more snobby about food in general as I've gotten older.
Same. Very much the same. Yeah, it needs to be a slightly more complex recipe these days. It needs to have like little, subtle flavors and maybe little sides that go with it as well. I'm much more high maintenance than I was as a kid.
Do you ever find that like you sometimes crave the bad version of something? Like this happened to me this weekend where I was just like, man, I want Narragansett beer, which is not a good beer either. But I wanted it because I wanted to feel like I was at a bar and just like wanted it. So, and I know it's not the best, but I was like, it's cheap and I get a lot of it.
Do you know what? I've craved a load of rubbish things during the pandemic. Yeah. I don't know why. I think it's just because I have so little choice in life at the moment, being, stuck at home. It's like, I can choose to eat something that is absolute garbage. And, and that will be my choice. There's something perverse about that, I think.
Yeah.
There's a frozen pizza. I think they still make it. It was called Elio's Pizza.
Oh,
it's like cardboard with maybe ketchup instead of tomato. Whatever it is, it's not good. Yeah, but it wasn't during the pandemic. It was just before the pandemic started. I saw it at like a Stop and Shop, and I bought a box of it. It's like, I'm gonna eat this.
It tastes like a good like childhood Saturday. You're just like, my mom made like this crappy Elio's pizza that's in a rectangle, and like I'm having it for lunch, and then I'm gonna go play with my friends. It's gonna be.
It is the best. Oh, now I'm hungry. Now I'm very, very hungry.
I mean, I've eaten, but I could eat again. I mean,
a little
you said
literal
looking at the
midnight snack.
kitchen. Yeah, it would be.
So shifting from food, let's talk about movies. What is a movie that you never get tired of watching? You could watch it over and over again.
I think. Can I choose a category of movies? Because it's, well, I would say a cinematic universe, if you will. I can watch the Marvel movies all the time. Specifically, like the last, Endgame and Infinity War. I feel like I watched those a bunch. And Ragnarok, actually. That's the one. That's the one I've never gotten sick of.
Yeah.
But like kind of generally all of them. Just fun.
You see, I got told off by a friend a few weeks ago because I love watching the Marvel movies and I love the Marvel universe, but I don't pay much attention to like the detail in it. And so I don't really know how the characters connect. They're just all really fun movies and like TV shows that have like some interesting characters, some explosions, like there's some fun. And then I go to bed and I like forget about it. And I was telling him the ones that I had and hadn't seen. He was like, how did that one make sense when you hadn't seen that one? And he got really angry with me about it. I was like, they're just fun. It's like that. To me, they're bubblegum and I like bubblegum. So
and they do a really good job of, even if you didn't see this other movie, they're gonna write some kind of justification of make it make sense. Like, yeah, you should see them all, but you can still just watch the middle one and be like, yeah, okay, I buy it. Okay,
they're all fairly self-contained. Like,
yeah, they all
like
make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, Doctor Strange can travel through space and time at any way that he wants to. Yeah, cool, makes sense. And that's how he's connected to everybody.
That's why they stopped doing like origin movies, because they realized like we don't need to explain why these people are here. We don't need to explain why they exist. People just enjoy them existing.
Yeah, 100%. And I do. Very, very happy about it.
Yeah.
For me, it's the Star Wars universe. And like I really hate saying, oh, it has to be this film. Because like it was always Empire Strikes Back, because like that was the one that was, so beautifully made. It had like a little bit of grit to it. It had like all of the emotion. It didn't just, the ending wasn't just, hey, everybody's happy. And there was obviously the big reveal of Vader and I don't want to put out spoilers.
Appreciate that.
For a movie that came out in
1980.
Yeah. But it's still a big reveal, and if people haven't got in there yet, I just want to say Empire. There's a really big moment. But recently, I have I think my favorite may very well be Rogue One, because again, it is the most, and technically, it's not part of the 9, but it is so well made, and it's so gritty, and it's like so sad, and it doesn't shy away from like the destruction that was going on, the human destruction. And then the bit at the end again with Vader, he gets the best moments, it's electrifying, really electrifying. So yeah, it's the Star Wars universe for me.
I wanted those characters to be the main like the new trilogy characters. I was watching it and I was like, why aren't these the characters that we follow throughout like 3 movies? Because they were so cool and good, and I loved Rogue One so much.
Yeah, and they were complex though. They weren't like cardboard cutout like goodies. They were like complex. They had flaws, like proper flaws, not like, oh, sometimes you bite your nails. It was like, no, sometimes you use your nails to kill somebody, even though you're meant to be on the side of, good. Don't know why I'm obsessed with nails. Can't tell you why.
They all had like Han Solo-iness to it, but they were like, some of them were like idealistic. Oh, I just love that movie.
Yeah. It's such a good film.
It's an excellent film. Yeah. It's funny that you both picked universes, the Marvel universe, the Star Wars universe. I have my movie in my mind, but it also leads to a universe, which I didn't even consider, but it does. My movie that I never get tired of is Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. I never get tired of it. I never get tired of it. But if I watch that, I then have to watch Star Trek 3 and Star Trek 4, because it's a trilogy. And then when I do that, I'm like, well, I might as well watch the rest of them. And you know, I might as well watch them all. And so, yeah, I guess mine is the Star Trek universe. Yeah, everything. It's all about them universes.
Oh yeah.
They're always really good, and then like they're only enhanced if you've seen more, but are self-contained, and that's why I think they work so well.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And like Rogue One goes into A New Hope so well. They dovetail so perfectly. It's like, how do you not watch the two together? Like, you just need to get some really trashy food in and put aside 5 hours.
Yeah,
you're fine.
Get a couple blocks of Elio's pizza, maybe dump some brown sauce on it, give it some flavor, and away we go.
Oh yeah.
All right, so you each brought a question to ask each other. So, Rob, what is your question for Lloydie?
All right, this one, it is Mother's Day here. I don't know if it's Mother's Day. It's not Mother's Day over there anymore. That has since passed.
It passed weeks ago, actually, because we have it on a different day in this country.
Oh, well.
Yeah, we have it in the middle of Lent. Yeah.
Oh, in the middle of Lent. Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So it moves every year.
So if your mother gave up breakfast, yuck, you can't get breakfast in bed. You just bring her a table. Because of that, I was with my partner, and she... the thing happened where she told the embarrassing story that she likes to tell to, like, whenever she has the opportunity to, like, do it with, like, Rob did this crazy thing. What is, like, that story for you and either your mom, your dad, or whoever your caretakers were? Like, what is the embarrassing story from your childhood that gets brought up and you're like, this again?
I think the thing is, it's something that I don't remember. But I mean, it sounds like a thing that I would do. The one that my dad is still around and loves to embarrass me. I mean, it is sport for him. And the thing he brings up is that I would get a little bit temperamental and run off. And it would always be while they were like shopping. So they would be out and they would be getting whatever, whether it was groceries or clothing shopping. And it would be like, where's he gone? And I'd always be hiding somewhere. And apparently at the age of like 4 or 5, for me, that was sport. And I gave them a heart attack so many times. So he always wheels that out. And I'm like, of all of the stories, Dad, why are you telling this? And I'm more embarrassed that he's telling a crap story than the fact that I used to run off. Because I'm like, yeah, I probably did. I mean, I was 5. I was really interested in things. Shops were so interesting to me as a kid because they had like so many weird and wonderful things in them and gadgets and devices. I used to love like cash registers. I thought they were amazing. Like to me at 5, like if I get to operate a cash register for the rest of my life, that is going to be like, that's going to be the best thing. And yeah, so me running off is the thing that he absolutely always brings up. So yeah, God love him.
Oh, fantastic.
I kind of want to know yours now, Rob, before I ask you.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I did prime myself. And like, it's funny to me, and I don't remember it either. But it was when I was younger, we were going to like a garbage restaurant. I think it was Olive Garden. We were it was some holiday or something. And so we were waiting there forever. Everyone was hungry and like angry about it and really crabby. And we finally get our table and I'm like 3 and everyone's just like real grumpy and looking at each other and like, blah, blah, blah. And then they look over at me and I'm chewing something. And they're like, where did you get that? I, the brilliant 3-year-old, grabbed the gum from underneath the table and started eating it. So I was an innovative child who thought he did some problem solving and just started eating gum that had already been chewed, stored there for my use later. But that's the story that gets brought up every time.
Wow.
Awesome. And is it just me, or is there less gum under tables these days? There used to be gum under tables all the time, it feels like. And now, like, I can't go anywhere and find gum under tables.
What are you going to do when you're hungry? What are you going to do in a pinch? Like, you need that reserve.
I think people just aren't chewing gum like they used to. You know, we used to chew gum like crazy, and now it's just not getting chewed.
I think they are still chewing gum, but they're just selfish. They're more selfish. It's like if I can't have this, no one else can. So
and then when you swallow it, it's with you for 12 years apparently. So you never have to give it up.
That's a beautiful rabbit hole. Rob, my question to you is, what is the really small kind of social thing that really pisses you off? It's only small and it shouldn't piss you off, but it does, and you're like, really winds you up.
I already know. My brain went through like 7. But I feel like this is a small one that ultimately is harmless, well-meaning. I get so annoyed when people are late consistently. When people are late occasionally, fine. Like, traffic, or if they're 15 minutes late and like you're in the city, you're looking for parking and you had to walk to the place. Okay. But if you're just like late all the time and it's like, why are you late? I don't know. We couldn't wake up. That's not, you're 30 now. You can't give that excuse. That's the thing that bugs me more than anything in the world. And it used to bug me more. I've come a long way. I feel like I give everyone a 15-minute window and that's it. Then I'm bugged.
I am exactly the same.
Oh my God.
That really bugs me. I also have a list. I mean, there are so many little social things that like unreasonably bother me. Like it's not reasonable to be as bothered by them as I am. And I'm like self-aware enough to kind of realize that, but also still be really pissed off by them.
What is yours then? That's my question. Is it lateness or is it something like else?
Lateness is one of them. Lateness really bugs me because I'm one of these people that fills their time a little bit too much, and I take on too many things. So if someone is late, I'm like, well, this is time I could have used for something else, and why are they taking time away from me? It feels like a theft. But equally, I really, and this is so unreasonable because people have to do it for a variety of reasons. But if I walk fairly fast through the city, and if someone is walking in front of me and they suddenly stop for no reason, it's like, why are you doing that? Do you have so little spatial awareness that you don't realize there are other people walking here? It's so that really gets me. And the other one is a really modern one, and again, like I pretend to myself that I'm really a millennial. Obviously I'm not, but the thing that bugs me is you'll be in the middle of this great online conversation. I'd be like, yeah, did you see that? Yeah, back forward, you know, fully table tennising it. And then all of a sudden they just stop replying. There has been no be right back or, oh yeah, I'm just in the middle of, and they can be gone for 2 hours and then they'll suddenly shoot you another message. It's like, if you are here, you are here. And if you need to go, tell me. It's simple, but I do not want to have to wait for your reply and then be like, should I go and do another thing now, or are they okay? Do I need to call like the police? Is this an emergency? Have they been like abducted? Like just disappearing like that unreasonably winds me up, and I realize that is how people communicate now.
When you first started describing that, I thought you were talking about like Zoom, and like people, you were just like chatting with someone like online, and then they're just like.
Oh, that would just be terrifying for a totally different reason.
I mean, that would bug me even more because they would be right there. But of course, you can't see when you're just having like a text conversation with someone, you know, like on Facebook Messenger. It really just tell me you're going. It's like, oh, gotta go. That's fine. Like, but not telling me that's just so rude. It's unreasonably rude.
Yeah.
I'm angry just thinking about it. I don't know whether I can do. I don't know whether I can do a decent scene now because I'm just really backed up about it.
All right, let's take a minute, take some deep breaths while you guys calm down, get your anger out. We'll find out where your scene's going to be. So out there in the Twitch chat, you're watching. Let us know you're here. Say hello in the Twitch chat, and also give us a location where the scene can take place. It can be anywhere. We've had scenes in freezers. We've had a scene in restaurants. We've had a scene we did a scene in a purse. Those are some of the more abstract, but we've also done scenes like at a Denny's. So whatever, we just need a location. So please, in the Twitch chat, throw a location into the chat so we can get a scene for Lloydie and Rob where they can do a scene. While we're waiting for that, let's hear real quick, what is something that, anything you guys want to plug, like podcast shows, anything else that you've got going on in your life? Rob, why don't you kick us off if you have anything?
Sure. You can find me also here on 2MB Studios. I do Once Upon a Doodle, the show that was right before this, although I didn't do it right before this. I usually am there. And then you can also find me on my extremely nerdy podcast, Adventure Incorporated, at adventureincpod.com. It's a 5-6 now year long story, but we just restarted like a campaign. So if you're like, I don't want to listen to 5 years of people playing D&D, we've restarted and you can jump right in and listen with us. And it's a lot of fun. It's with a bunch of people I met at college doing improv, actually. And now we do that and go to cons and be nerds. It's great.
Awesome. Lloydie.
I'm also going to plug my podcast, which is the Improv Chronicle podcast. It is what the world of improv sounds like. It is a 20-minute documentary every 2 weeks where I speak to a variety of improvisers about a particular subject. The one that is out currently is it's all about corporate improv, people who do improv in corporations and what improv brings to corporations normally and what extra it's bringing to corporations during the global pandemic. It's basically me desperately wanting to be Michael Barbaro from The Daily and doing my best Michael Barbaro English version impression, but without any of the money and resources that the New York Times have.
Very nice. And that's called the Improv Chronicle podcast?
It is.
Excellent. Very good. All right, so we've got a couple of suggestions. I like this. You're going to do a scene by a swimming pool.
Okay.
All right, by a swimming pool. All right, so I'm going to pop you both into the green room, and when you come back, you'll start your scene by a swimming pool. And the scene starts with the line, "Thank you for coming." So we take you to by a swimming pool. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. He just dive bombed and then left, and I'm soaked.
You're all wet. You have no clothes. You can't be like this right now. You just got cannonballed. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Thank you. I knew you'd understand. Is why I called you.
Of course. I have an entire suitcase of all of your clothes right here, sir. I have every single thing that you could potentially want at all right here. Would you like your fine dining clothes or more of a lounge jacket?
A lounge jacket would be lovely.
There you go, sir. Absolutely. I apologize again. I didn't mean to bring my son to the pool, your pool. I just didn't have anywhere else to put him, so I'm so sorry.
Hey, Alfred, it is okay. It is absolutely okay. You cannot control like everybody else's life. Yes, he's your son. But you know, I was the same when I was 22. I didn't have the social awareness that I have now. So, yeah.
Bruce Wayne was this hyperactive as a child?
Oh, yes. 100%. 100%. I still have my hyperactive moments. Even though I'm a little older and a little wiser now.
Sure. I know I'm not the original Alfred. So I don't know you as a child, but it's just surprising to me. You just seem so refined and so, dare I say, regal in that lounge jacket that I just handed you.
Thank you very much indeed. It's Daniel Hansen. Are you familiar with the you familiar with the?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I am
very
much so. Very
available in Harrods and lots of other very expensive places. But it's
Nordstrom.
like, yeah, absolutely. Look, I don't want to flaunt my wealth. I'm just glad to be dry.
Mm. It's okay to flaunt your wealth. You can't help that you are extremely wealthy. You are born extremely wealthy.
I mean, I can help that I'm extremely wealthy, though, can't I? When you think about it, Alfred, I could have given it all away. I mean, I've got my foundation, I guess, but I could have just
your
given it
investments
all.
and your trust fund. Could you give away your trust fund? I believe legally you physically cannot give away your trust fund because it is dosed to you in certain amounts each month.
This is it. This is the burden I carry.
Being an extremely wealthy man.
Yeah. And I don't think everybody understands it. I don't think like the investments, they're fixed term investments. I can't withdraw them. I would lose so much money. I mean,
but wouldn't that be the goal, to lose all of your money? Then you would not be wealthy. I'm sorry, sir. I don't mean. I hope I didn't overstep my bounds.
No.
Sorry.
No, it is a good question. It's just that if I was going to lose all my money, I'd want to do it by giving to some kind of charitable cause rather than gambling it on the roulette table of the financial markets.
Yes. I mean, I don't understand the stock market at all, so I don't fully understand how that would work. But I mean, philanthropy is a very noble profession. You could give all of your money to one foundation, several foundations. That's something that could happen.
I mean, I guess it's just that it's all a lot of paperwork, isn't it, really, Alfred? And
Mr. Master Wayne, can I ask you a frank question?
Always.
Are you afraid if you weren't extremely wealthy? Because it seemed like you started being like, "Ooh, that's a good idea," and then, "Ooh," the more you think about it.
It's just like a lot of things in life. Like a really lovely idea, a bit like, they're kind of like what I call a politician's promise of an idea. Like when they say it, you're like,
very good.
You're like, oh yes, that would be great. That would be amazing. And then the politician gets elected. They realize there's a whole bureaucracy going on. It's difficult to fulfill the promise. They don't fulfill the promise. They get, booted out, but they've been paid by that point and they're not going to hand the money back.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a bit like that. It's, it's not my best metaphor, but it's the one I'm using today.
Sure. Then I won't make my suggestion that would have made you not extremely wealthy. I don't want to intrude at all, and I won't. I feel like it would be rude at this point to make that suggestion. So, can I offer you any other clothes? I mean,
it's just before. Actually, can I have some socks?
Oh my gosh! You've been sitting there in your soggy socks this whole time. I'm so sorry.
Thank you so much.
Which of these several brands would you like? There's like at least 15 here. These blue ones are quite nice.
I'll go with the blue. Yes.
Here you are, sir.
Thank you so much.
It just seems so hard to be an extremely wealthy person to have their entire lives catered to. It just seems so hard.
It is difficult because I sometimes feel very overwhelmed just asking you for things. I mean, it's quite difficult. But then, for example, if I stopped asking you for things, I would have to fire you, and then you wouldn't have a living.
I wouldn't like that.
No, I wouldn't like that. I don't want to be the cause of distress. Can we just rewind? You were going to make a suggestion.
Oh, no, sir. I feel like it would be extremely rude at this point. I don't want to. I don't want to put any more burden on I don't want to put any burden on you with an excellent idea that I had that just now seems so ridiculous.
It's just, Alfred, you do seem very sure that it's a good idea.
It really is, sir. But honestly, we've moved past the point. But I feel like I must. I feel like I must.
I feel like you must. Your ideas have been stellar. The new stereo system in the Batmobile is great.
It's incredible.
Like, so many more radio channels. So please do.
Master Wayne, what if you gave me all of your money? What if I became Bruce Wayne? What if instead you will be freed from your burden of being a wealthy man, no longer having any money at all, giving it to me. Kind of complicated, but not complicated if we switch places. If I become Bruce Wayne and you go and do whatever you want.
Well,
it's a ridiculous idea. You're right, sir. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. No. What can
I quite like it. The burden of being Bruce Wayne has been considerable for a long time, and the amount of times I've had to save this city. Whereas, if I was maybe just, I don't know, the butler, and I feel like I have the accent for it.
I feel like you do. I feel like I don't have the accent to be the butler. If I'm being honest, my accent to be a butler, terrible. But I could be Batman. I could be Bruce Wayne. I could be both. I could juggle both of those. I took an acting class. We look very similar.
We do look very similar. I mean, you could just, I don't know, change. We could swap glasses.
Swap glasses. We don't have to change accents. We'll just explain that away as being an eccentric billionaire.
Absolutely.
Trillionaire. And I will be Batman. And you will be Alfred.
And I love clothes. Oh my goodness. I could have an absolute field day with all of these different garments.
Well, you would have to wear the uniform that I wear, I assume, right?
Oh, of
no,
course.
I'm sorry, Master Wayne. That's
no. You don't understand. I just love the garments. I mean, I don't need to wear them. I just like them. I mean, this is a very good idea. Can we put it on the ideas board?
We can put it on the idea. Let me. The ideas board.
You brought the ideas board with you to the swimming pool.
I've installed it near the swimming pool, sir. I feel like we've had so many good ideas by the swimming pool. It just seemed apropos of me to not do this, right? I needed to.
Did you put the good idea of bringing the ideas board to the swimming pool on the ideas board? Because that would be genius.
Crossed it off. We're good.
Oh, we are working through these. This is a comfort to me. This is a comfort to my soul, Alfred.
I feel like this has been a very good conversation. I am now Bruce Wayne and Batman. You could stay Batman. Nobody knows who Batman is. You could be my butler and Batman. If you're in it for the thrills.
I do enjoy a thrill. Shall I cannonball?
Sir, you can absolutely cannonball. You are no longer Bruce Wayne. You can do whatever you want.
Oh my God.
I'm Bruce Wayne now.
Well, but that would be awful if I got a billionaire wet like that.
You would have to get me new clothes.
I would, in my role as a butler.
Mm-hmm. Lucky for you, I've brought over all of my clothes now. They are now my clothes, I assume.
Well, I mean, if we do the switch, then absolutely, that's great. But then we'd need to cross it off the ideas board.
We would have to cross it off the ideas board.
Do you know what? I've always liked you.
Thank you, sir.
But I really can't stand your son.
Well, you're his dad now. That's part of the deal. That is.
This was like a Batman story that like they wrote and they were like, what if, okay, stay with me. Alfred is actually Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne, they switched after an incident at a pool. And like no one's gonna know it, but like this is like a story, like the secret of how Batman became Batman.
The Batman origin story you never knew.
Yeah. Oh, he wasn't very bright, was Bruce Wayne, was he? He wasn't bright at all. Oh.
Oh my God.
Alfred was the power behind the throne all along.
Always. He was the one who supplied the gadgets. He must have been.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. No, he did loads of stuff. It wasn't just the stereo system in the car. No.
No.
Yeah. This is clearly, and this story implies that this is something that Alfred has been thinking about for a while. And like probably put his kid up to the cannonball, was like, this is how I'm going to tilt the scales in my favor.
Yes. Absolutely.
Everything in my life has led up to this moment. Son, cannonball.
Love it.
Oh, so fun. It's such a fun time watching you both improvise in that scene. And it had one of my favorite, it was a trope in my earlier days of improv, and I haven't seen it much anymore, but it was the pull down chart.
I love
I'm a big fan of a pull down chart. I haven't seen it in so long, and it wasn't a chart, it was an ideas board, which was even better. Which is a whole other thing. Now Batman and Alfred have an ideas board, which is also another fun tangent to go down. What they put on there.
I want to see.
Yeah.
I've definitely pulled that ideas board out when I find myself in a complicated scene to just highlight how much in a hole we are. Be like, all right, let's recap really quickly.
Any recap device I love.
Perfect.
Is there anything else that you have that's like a trope that you do in your improv? Just because you're like, this is something I do. Like Rob, you have your pull down board. You made me think of something. Every now and then I'll be in a scene where if my character has dispensed of anything he needs to dispense of, he'll just go, all right, well, I'm gonna leave. And then I'll just sprout wings and fly away. I've done that more often than I should have, to be honest.
Oh God, I have so many things that I lean back on. Like sometimes I will literally recap the scene and be like, so let me see if I'm understanding this right, and then go through a bunch of stuff. Sometimes in fact, I did it in that scene, really. I'll often default to being low status because I know there's so much fun I can have playing that. And although he was technically the higher status person, it was clear by the end that he most definitely was not. He was not in control of what was going on at all, which I really loved.
I think I have definitely. I tend to, especially when I'm like, I want to highlight a relationship, I always make them go on a date. I feel like and the date is almost always, and if anyone's watched Once Upon a Doodle, I've done this about 1,000 times in that show. Oh, do you like your spaghetti? Like, that's how I identify that we're on a date right now. For some reason.
I mean, it makes it clear. If you don't eat spaghetti if you're not on a date. It's like the law.
It is the law. It's the improv law, definitely.
The worst food for eating on a date.
Oh, God.
By far the worst.
Slurping it and trying not to get it all over yourself.
I definitely had a second date long ago with a girl that I was like, oh, I like her. Second date. Let's go to my favorite barbecue place. Mistake. Dumb idea, because it was delicious, but we were covered in sauce. It was not. It was. We both got like sloppy joes, like idiots, and like we just never saw each other again.
Oh, fantastic!
I think it's too early in a date, in a dating situation, in a relationship to see somebody like that. If it's the first or second date, you can't see somebody in that state, and then carry on with having a relationship. It's not practical.
All right. Now the three of us get to do a scene together, which makes me very happy. It's my favorite. It's every part of the show is my favorite, but getting to play with the guests is super fun. So we do not have to say thank you for coming. The scene can just start. And we're going to do this scene. You were by a swimming pool. Now we're going to be in a lighthouse.
Ooh.
So the three of us will be in a lighthouse. I'm going to pop you into the green room, and then when you come back, we're in a lighthouse.
No one told us how to clock out.
I don't. I don't want to leave if I didn't clock out, because then I won't get paid for my shift. And
It's been a long shift.
It's been a very long shift, and if I don't clock out, then I'm going to fall asleep on the job.
And then if the boss comes back and you're asleep on the job, do we not get paid or get paid docked? Even worse, because we slept on the job.
We could put together a shift system where, I mean, in order to come back, the boss is going to have to make his way out to the lighthouse. So, as long as one of us is at the bottom, then
okay.
One of us is on shift, one of us is at the bottom, one of us is sleeping, and then we just kind of rotate that in a rotation system. That would surely work. That's surely.
All right, so I like where your head's at, but so let's just say for this impromptu idea that you're asleep, and Raj, you're at the top, so that puts me at the bottom. So when it's time for your sleep shift to end, what if, who's keeping track? Because if I'm keeping track and I'm at the bottom and I'm like, oh, it's my time to go to sleep, and I come up to wake you up, now no one's at the bottom. And if no one's at the bottom, what if the boss comes when no one's at the bottom and there's no one there to, intercept him or make a noise so that who's ever asleep midway up? So I assume we're going to sleep in the middle, right? Because the light would be really blinding.
Yeah.
And okay.
Yeah. I mean, I really just wish we had an onboarding. No one onboarded us for this job at all. They just said, go here for 8 hours, and then you get paid every day.
I mean, the human resources department have been terrible. I mean, I don't have a proper contract. I don't know how much vacation I get each year.
I wasn't even told we had vacation. I assumed we didn't have vacation. Do we get vacation?
I didn't even know I was officially hired. I thought this was actually my second interview.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't even did you guys get your hired packet? Did you get a hired packet or anything? Because I didn't get a packet. I just got told be here at 9 p.m. or 9 bells. He called it 9 bells, which I know that's not correct, because I studied some nautical stuff, back in my college days.
The last guy the guy who had the job before you, he thought he was just coming to an Airbnb. He was like, "Oh, that's quirky," and he was so pissed. Yeah, but he did his 6 months. Credit to him. It was there in the small print somewhere.
I've been here for about a month. I've never left, and I don't know. I don't have, my phone's been dead. There's no outlet, so I don't even know if my wife and kids know that I'm still alive. I've been really looking for a phone charger this whole time, but I gotta get paid too. That's why I came here. I gotta support my family.
So the boss doesn't come. If you've been here for a month, the boss has never come here in that month?
Never seen him. Only got a phone call. Wait, have you seen the boss?
Me?
Yeah. Tony, did you see the boss?
No, the interview. It was. You ever watch on TV when there's they're talking to someone who was involved in a crime, but they clearly didn't want to be on camera, so they sat in the dark and they obscured their voice.
Yeah, that's what I thought the boss's voice was.
If that's what his voice is, I thought it was an obscured voice, because I got to the interview and I sat down and I heard, "Have a seat in the red chair," and I did, and then the interview happened. So I don't think I've ever actually seen the boss.
No, I haven't either. I came here for the interview, and they made me sit in front of the light. So the light's in my eyes. It's I couldn't see anybody else. I don't know if there were people with him, but I heard the scrunchy voice.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Sure.
Yeah.
How did we clock in? How do we know that we're clocked in? Is this some sort of social experiment? Like, what is? Like, I went on Indeed.com. I put in my resume. I'm an accomplished sailor. I have several sailor accomplishments on there. I have a CV. I had a headshot. I got a call. He said, "Go here." I have no idea if I'm clocked in, clocked out.
Well, when you're a sailor, you don't clock in or clock out. The ocean is your time clock. You know, the waves are your lunch break.
Yeah.
You know,
the sun's up, you work. The sun's down, you sleep. Unless the boat's about to sink, then you work, which sometimes happens.
Well, you see, I'm just a psychologist. And again, we don't necessarily clock in and clock out. We're always observing. I've got extensive anti-mermaid training. So I know how to stop things coming onto the rocks. And I think that's how I got the job. So I arrived here. And obviously, my duty is duty of care to the person. And that is to any sailor who is being lured towards rocks.
That explains why you've been taking notes this whole time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and by the way, look, it's clear you've had some trauma in your kind of like early teenage years, and that is fine. You are okay as you are. You are fine.
That was very disarming in a positive way. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's like you are a good man.
Stephen, you've been here the longest. Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Was that your voice on the phone this whole time?
By my voice on the phone. What do you?
Are you the boss? Are you examining us? Is this an experiment? Is your name really Stephen?
The last person who asked me that question didn't get to ask any more questions. I'm afraid neither of you are leaving.
Why?
Yeah,
Why can't we leave? And why do you...
Well, you see, I'm doing an experiment. And it's about how people behave in isolation. And so far, you've come up with a lot of questions. It's been very interesting. And I really do believe, by the way, you're both good human beings. You've had various traumas, and I just want to see how that would play out in a situation where you are in an isolated place. You won't find a phone charger here. You won't find phone signal here, and you won't find a way to clock out because you're never going to clock out.
Did you bring us here because of our traumas?
Yes, I did.
That's so okay, because I thought it was weird that you asked about my uncle exploding during the interview because it has nothing to do with running a lighthouse.
My God, my uncle also exploded.
What?
My uncle exploded.
Spontaneous human combustion?
Yeah. As a child, when I was like 5, it happened right in front of my eyes.
Yeah, we were at a Braves game.
I was at a Braves game.
Wait a minute, are you my cousin?
Are you my cousin? I think you're my cousin. Are we still getting paid? Are we still getting paid for this?
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Are you our uncle?
Yes, I am.
Are you still going to pay us?
That was so bizarre.
So weird.
It was like the plot. It was like the plot of The Lighthouse. It was just like it.
I have not seen that.
I haven't seen that either.
Oh, it's the most. It's a lot.
For a minute, I was like, "Oh, this is kind of going in a Waiting for Godot kind of way." Like these three guys are just the lighthouse boss who never shows up. But then it got like way more twisty and turny.
I enjoyed that.
I just, whatever little ridiculous idea. Let's go with that. That sounds fun.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, I started laughing midway through, like 3 lines into the scene. How'd you guys clock in?
I saw that one.
Like, yep, good point. Good point. How did we clock in?
It's like I'm gonna use that eventually.
So good.
Awesome. So much fun to watch you both play and to play with both of you. What a delight. Just what a delight. This has been so much fun.
Oh, likewise. Thank you so much for inviting us, Mike.
Yeah,
of
thanks
course.
for having me.
Hell yeah.
And nice to meet you, Lloydie.
Oh, nice to meet you too. You have a great cat tree. It's better than mine.
It's such a good cat tree.
I just have that one. So.
No, I like your cat tree.
I'd show you mine's in the other room, but we all have cat trees. That's pretty awesome. Nothing we all have in common.
Three of a kind.
I don't even have a cat.
It's for me.
I sleep on it.
I love it.
I use it to change light bulbs. It's very sturdy.
Oh man! All right, well, Lloydie and Rob, what a delight having you, watching you play and playing with you. Everyone out there who's watching the show, thank you so much for being here. Come back next week for some more. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Bye, everybody.